Christiana Gaudet with more answers to your questions about tarot. Today's question comes from Laura. She writes, I've been studying tarot for about 2 years now, and I'm starting to feel confident enough in my readings to do them locally in my town. The only problem is that I live in a small town, about 4,000 people, and we do have a fair amount of churches here. My question is, have you ever had or heard of experiences with public tarot readings in a small town? Laura, that is a great question. Now, I assume a couple of things. I assume that when you're looking at wanting to do readings locally at events in town, that part of your reason for doing that is that you want to get out there and really get some practice reading for the public, reading for strangers. I also am wondering if you're looking at this as a way to start a business, to get your name out there, to get your business card out there. I'd like to address this from the business perspective. I think whether or not you're interested in being a professional tarot reader, either full-time or part-time, the idea of getting out and reading for the public is really important. It allows you to take your understanding of tarot and how it works to a new level. It allows you ways of connecting with people and helping people that you never thought you'd be able to do. Now, if this is going to be a business for you, well, all the better. I do have to take a moment to recommend my book, Fortune Stellar, What Every Professional Tarot Reader Needs to Know. I started reading in small towns, and I've had offices, actual business practices in a few small towns. And I know exactly what you're talking about, and a lot of my experiences are in this book. So pick up a copy. You can get it for your Kindle, you can get it for your Nook, or you can get the paperback copy on Amazon. The thing about a small town is, once you are a character in the town, you will be part of their celebrations, you will be part of their fundraising, you will be part of their entertainment, you'll be a fixture in the town. And I've had the opportunity to be in that role in a few different towns. And I'll tell you what, attitude is everything. You will always have people who laugh at you, have a sense of humor. You will have some people who have a discomfort or a religious objection to what you do. You'll have some people who are afraid of what you do. My best advice is this. Always assume support. Always assume that people appreciate what you do and get where you're coming from. If they don't, be a little surprised, be polite, and try to explain it in clear, loving terms. Now, I will say this. I started my business more than 20 years ago. And I will say that in the past 20 years, there has been an increased level of anger and volume in terms of the tone of that minority of people who object to what we do for religious reasons. There's always been that minority there, but they used to just kind of not patronize us, or sometimes they would patronize us and just not tell their church friends. They still do. But the thing is, there seems to be some license now amongst that population to be more angry, more vocal, and feel more entitled to harass. The thing to remember about people who harass you is they're just like bullies anywhere. So when we talk about doing readings at events, there are so many opportunities in small towns. Local chambers of commerce, whether they're town-wide or county-wide, often do expos or different events where you can have a table. You might pay a small fee to sit at the table, or you may work out with the organizers that they'll let you have a table and you'll give free readings to people. Now, the key is, I did say that word, free readings. The key is when you first start out doing this, if your goal is to get out there and let people get to know you, you'll do some free readings. Now, I know that's contrary to a lot of popular business wisdom, but what we're talking about here is you becoming a known and loved and respected entity in a small town. You gotta let them get to know you. So, talk to chambers of commerce. Talk to any kind of teachers organization. I've done readings at events for a couple of different teachers organizations. They can never get enough budget to pay for entertainment. So if you offer free psychic entertainment, they'll often say yes. Relay for Life often likes to have readers available to do readings for the crowd as part of the entertainment. Let's see. Other kinds of charity organizations, fairs, even church fairs. And some churches will even have psychic fairs as fundraisers. So just because a church is a church doesn't mean that they don't like you. I've had some churches picket against me, and I've had some churches ask me to do readings at their events. So don't discount churches out of hand. So school events, fundraisers, around Halloween, even organizations that would not normally have a tarot reader might welcome a reader at their event. Likewise, New Year's. Now, some towns do first night kinds of things. Being part of a first night celebration also works. So basically, any kind of craft fair, anything, any kind of music festival, any place that has vendors, a flea market. Way back in the day, I used to have a booth in a flea market. Be willing to work for charity events. Be willing to work for fundraisers. Now, if you feel ready to teach tarot or to teach about tarot, look at the local adult education program, whether that's done through the schools or as a separate organization, and teach for them if you'd like. So just don't be afraid to ask. And remember, at the end of the day, if you let people get to know you, it's not going to be about whether they like tarot. It's not going to be about whether they like psychics. It's going to be about whether they like you. The thing about a small town is once they get to know you, they'll support you. So you just got to let them get to know you. And if you approach one organization and they say no, simply approach another. Keep going until you meet people who become your allies. Wherever you go, let people know what you do. Bring your cards with you wherever you go. And don't be afraid to bring them out in the laundromat, in the restaurant, wherever you are. And in fact, you may work out an opportunity to do some readings in a local bar or a local restaurant, just to sit at a table and offer to read for clients for tips. So don't be afraid to approach local businesses, business organizations, arts organizations, educational organizations, flea markets, art fairs, craft fairs, even some church-run organizations. We'll be happy to have you work with them. Work for tips, work for a small fee, work for free, do whatever you have to do to get out there. You could even host your own events. And whenever possible, remember to work with the local press. Do it online, but in a small town, you want to do it the old-fashioned way too. Make sure you send press releases. And if you have a small radio station in your town, Talk to the local DJs. They're always looking for content. Maybe they'll let you do some readings live on the air. Thanks so much for a great question. And if you have a question about tarot, send me an email.